Good afternoon, good morning, good evening to everybody logged in today. My name is Mary Owen, and I want to thank you so much for attending today's presentation on high availability with Arcserve Unified Data Protection. Christophe Bertrand, who is our Vice President of Product Marketing, will be your host today. And you can send him questions throughout the presentation. Just use the question section of the interface. And we may get to a couple of those during the presentation. Otherwise, we'll answer them all at the end. Later this afternoon, I'll be sending out a recording of this webcast so you can watch it again at your leisure if you missed part of it, or you can share it with other people if you'd like. With that out of the way, take it away, Christophe.
Thank you very much, Mary. Hello, everybody. Today we're going to talk about the journey from backup to continuous availability. We'll cover a number of topics and technologies that pertain to traditional backup capabilities that you will find in our solution, but also cover what has changed, which is really the fact that now it's all about continuous availability. It's about protecting applications and data so that they never really go offline. So how we do that, what are the key elements to consider is what I will be covering today. And of course, as Mary indicated, please go ahead with your questions at any time. If I see them as I go through this presentation, I'll cover them. Otherwise, we'll cover the questions at the end. Before we get into some of the more specific details, I'd like to talk to you a little bit about Arcserve and who we are. We've been in business for many years under a number of incarnations. More recently, we've become independent. We were previously with a larger organization, but now we're an independent organization. We have been very successful with our most recent product launch, which is Arcserve UDP. It's a data protection, backup, and recovery solution. And we've been successful, clearly acquiring a number of customers around the world, and also getting a lot of recognition through awards, including specifically awards for the quality of our solution in the space of virtualization. So if you have virtual environments, we are essentially the award winners in that space, as you can see on the screen. We're a global company, so we have customers around the world. We see a lot of very different configurations, lots of different situations. It gives us this great ability to then take that back and build it into our product and our solution. So again, global company, lots of customers, and we certainly have a lot of experience in this space. And this is why we've been able to develop our solution and add to it a lot of capabilities that really take us to this enterprise class level of feature set, but combining that with a lot of usability, making it a very unique solution in the market. So what we do is we do backup, we do recovery, we're a software company, but we also provide an appliance offering. So if you like to purchase sort of a one-stop shop, we have an appliance that runs our UDP, which stands for Unified Data Protection software. And we also offer a disaster recovery as a service cloud option. If you run our software or our appliance, we can offer the cloud option should you want to have this fail back and fail safe solution without having to provide all of the upfront capital for a secondary data center. So lots of options. We certainly also support a number of public cloud options and providers, as well as private cloud. So many ways to consume the technology, and we're very, very differentiated because we have a very comprehensive set of features, including support, amongst other things, for physical systems, of course virtual systems, that's where we win awards, and cloud and tape backup. So very, very comprehensive. One thing I will mention, although I will not spend a lot of time on it today, is we also have great deduplication capabilities that really help our customers save a lot on storage. Now, with this in mind, let's talk a little bit about what we're seeing in the market. And this really explains what we've built our solution. what we are doing to improve our solution and the general direction this market is taking. This is based not only on our observations here at Arcserve, but also I spend a lot of time speaking with industry analysts, customers, partners, and really looking at the market and studying the market. So we feel that these are the top 7. It's important to go through each of them one by one just to explain what's going on in the market. You're probably seeing it yourselves, or you're seeing some of these affecting you and what you do in your IT infrastructure when it comes to data protection, systems availability, backup, etc. So first of all, there's no question that in today's environments, the diversity of the environment is what is very typical now. You have physical environments, virtual environments, and cloud. So it's what we call the triple play. And what this means is that you have to now manage this sort of equation that is not necessarily easy to do. And the ability to do this in a way that's simple, that doesn't generate a lot of stacking of applications and solutions, hence increasing the complexity, but it's critical for you to understand how to just simplify and manage those 3 dimensions just at once. So this equation is something that to bear in mind as you go through the other trends that are affecting you. The one thing that is making things very, very difficult is the exponential growth of data. There's just no doubt about this. There is clearly no stopping that, and this puts a ton of pressure on the IT infrastructure, a ton of pressure on costs, a ton of pressure on the ability to protect the data and do backups and do recoveries. So that's why we spend so much time developing a great deduplication capability in our solution, which allows to mitigate some of the growth and some of those costs. The big thing, which is what we're talking about today, is the fact that backups and restores have pretty much become a thing of the past. It's really about never failing and having this notion of continuous availability, meaning that for critical systems, at a minimum, should anything happen to your on-premise solution or to your data center, you should be able to have some level of automation that allows you to fail over and to keep going so that you minimize interruptions, you minimize business disruptions, and candidly, you get back on your feet faster. This is something that has become critical. It's almost become an expectation now, regardless of the size of your organization. I think there's a pecking order here. Not every application is born equal, but continuous availability has become very critical across the board. So what used to be something that you would typically find in the largest of enterprises is now a necessity in companies of all sizes, but more importantly, there is technology today to help you do that. Cloud, of course, has become a very critical part of the equation, as I explained earlier. It's a source, it's a destination. It is definitely a great tool to be able to leverage. So in the context of continuous availability, we'll talk a little bit about that as well. I mentioned the fact that enterprise class features are expected. We see that quite a bit, and the level of sophistication of what you can do has become very, very needed across the board. However, at the same time, you need simplicity, and you need able to do everything with one tool. That's what unification is about. So unifying what used to be niche solutions or discrete ways of protecting data, maybe having multiple solutions, multiple backup products, utilities that are for specialized applications. All of that has to get unified. Unifying allows you to simplify. Simplifying allows you to better control the environment, guarantee coherent data recovery points, and also lower your costs. And then, for some of you who've been around for a while, that tape was a primary destination medium for backups. Now it's changed. It's more of an archiving medium. It's still a very efficient solution at a cost from a cost perspective, and certainly we see that being the case, but definitely not the primary destination for backups. Clearly, cloud and disk obviously are great destinations and favorite destinations today. So these are the trends that we see. Again, if you go out and look at articles or industry analyst coverage, you'll see that all of these come back to a pretty high degree on a regular basis. Now, let's talk a little bit about where we come in and what we do. On the primary site, you will find our solution called Arcserve Unified Data Protection, which is a software solution. Here we represent it on the left-hand side with this little logo that says RPS. RPS is really the recovery point server. That's the brains of the operation of our solution. We back up physical systems, virtual systems. We do hardware snapshots for Nimble, for NetApp, and others soon. We do we provide lots of capabilities in terms of recoveries. All of these acronyms I can explain. BMR is Bare Metal Restore. We can restore a whole system from scratch, literally, including to dissimilar hardware, which of course is something you want to have as a capability, because when you lose a physical system, typically you don't have the exact same system waiting for you right there to recover to. So, but we also support instant virtual machines, virtual standby, leveraging virtualization as part of the recovery process, and high availability, which is what we'll talk about a little more in the next few minutes. As you can see, you can send the data off to tape as well, and that's what you can do on a primary site with our solution. But it gets better. We have built-in deduplication and built-in replication, meaning, say you have a number of remote offices, branch offices, well, you can protect them, back them up locally. Here in this example, I'm using a UDP appliance, but it could be another server with our software, depending on your preference. But just using the case of a UDP appliance here, you can see how we can replicate between instances. And what is important here is our deduplication is global, so we really combine and share that deduplication. We also have, as I mentioned, the high availability module, which I'll cover in a minute, which provides beyond this block-based backup solution and replication, it provides continuous data protection. So that's very, very interesting as well. Of course, you could have a disaster recovery site, or maybe work with a managed services provider who would have a data center with your data and some of your systems in there. So again, the point I'm making here is that you can replicate data multiple ways, and every time you replicate the recovery point server, by definition, you've achieved a level of disaster recovery, because you have all that you need to recover individual systems from whatever site has been backed up and shared with a global deduplication and shared across the recovery point servers. So it's a very, very powerful solution. Of course, I mentioned cloud earlier, and we support cloud, public clouds. We also offer the Arcserve Cloud, which is a disaster recovery as a service option. We're cloud agnostic. If you prefer to work with a public cloud provider, we support that. Of course, there are some variations depending on the providers, but fundamentally, cloud is at the heart of very native to our solution, as is deduplication and high availability. So I will cover in a minute the way we look at things with our Arcserve UDP solution. And it's really thinking of it as a service level agreement dial, an SLA dial. So you could decide that you want to create a data protection plan, which is what we call this, that's going to be good. And it's going to allow you to do daily backups to disk, or some, maybe some copy to tape off site. And that's going to be nice, nice, good, solid data protection and backup and recovery capabilities. You could just also decide, well, I have slightly more critical systems. I want to protect them a little better. And if I want to protect them better, I'm going to do a little more here. I'm going to do hardware snapshots. I'm going to replicate to the disaster recovery site. I'm going to do, full backups with multiple daily incremental backups to disk or even to tape. Or I could decide to go for the platinum standard, the best data protection, where I replicate this critical system to multiple recovery point servers, multiple sites. Maybe I also do and turn on the HA module where I'm going to go do continuous data protection, continuous data replication with the ability to set multiple scenarios that will help me automatically fail over to a secondary site or on-premise or maybe even the cloud. Many options, on-premise, distant, or even cloud. I'll cover that in a minute. So this is the first use case for high availability. Here I'm talking specifically about the high availability option of our solution. You can see on the left-hand side the overview of the solution and the environments we protect. There are many solutions, many ways we can protect your environment here. But what we do is essentially continuous replication, which means that should anything come up, as you can see this server here is dying or has just died, well, we will not lose much data at all. Essentially, the recovery point objective is going to be in the seconds. That's a great advantage. More importantly, we monitor what's going on with that server. Should anything come up, we don't see that heartbeat, we think there's an issue, we automatically fail over, and we're going to have you run on that standby replica, which, by the way, can be a physical or a virtual copy or replica of the server that you're protecting. So as a local user, you have the ability to then go figure out what happened and then decide, should you want to do so, to then fail back. What's very nice about our solution is that we do support automated failback, which means we have some level of automation covering workflows, including some of the very intricate network redirection characteristics that happen when something like that has to be put in place. So automated failover, automated failback, or manual failback if you decide to go that way, and then really because it's CDP, continuous data protection, you get a bunch of other capabilities like data rewind and more importantly a great centralized management tool. So this is the primary sort of site, high availability for a local site where you set it up so that you will fail over locally on premise. So quick point I want to make. Somebody asked me about whether we support Azure as one of the cloud solutions, and yes, we do. And it's something that I just covered earlier, but yes, we do support Azure, absolutely. So the fact that we get this recovery point objective to be low is because we have essentially this continuous replication that takes place. So anytime something gets written to that server, it gets captured and copied. So the minute we don't see the server, we go to the replica. So rather than a snapshot, for example, that could be 15 minutes behind, or a backup that could be an hour old, 2 hours old, whatever the case is, the data that you're protecting is constantly being replicated, which is exactly why you get a very low recovery point objective, and I think that answers one of the questions. So let's move on to another scenario which is, typically what you're going to be looking at, although I really favor the fact that you should absolutely think about local on-premise recovery or failover, because that's the first line of defense. It could be that your local site, for whatever reason, has become unavailable. So many things could happen. I'm not going to go through all of the possibilities, but it could happen between weather, utilities, problems, whatever, and and maybe worse sometimes there can be issues with the facilities. Well, in any case, in this configuration, what we're doing is we're failing over to a remote site. So what that means is that when your server dies or becomes unavailable, we don't see it. There's a scenario that just kicked in, or based on the parameters that you've decided you've set in the application. Well, we're going to fail it over to the replica. And it's going to happen over a wide area network. We have great replication capabilities where we've optimized the ability to replicate over a WAN. So that gives you the certainty that the data is going to get there. Now, of course, if you're replicating data over a certain distance, it may take a little more time than locally. So your recovery point objective is still going to be much, much, much better than anything out there that you could get with snapshot-based type of technologies. But it would probably be a few more seconds than if you did it locally. At the same time, look, you've had a problem, you had to fail over to a secondary location. Critical apps have to keep on running, and that's exactly what you're doing with this option. So this is, again, near instant. It's not instant. Obviously, it's over distance. It's, I think, actually physically impossible, but it's very, very close. So your recovery point objective, your service level is going to be fantastic. Again, automated failover, automated failback should you decide to do so. Typically, in those situations when you fail over to a remote site, while we offer the automated failback, I think customers tend to want to control the process a little more and be involved with that and do it more manually, but just know that it's available, and more importantly, it automates, again, a lot of the interesting network configurations that you have to deal with when you do this. The point I want to make here is, though, this gives you a fantastic solution also for regional issues. So if you have two data centers in different states, different regions, if you have a regional interruption, whatever the case may be, you can fail over to that secondary site somewhere else. Could be out of region, which is a great benefit and gives you a better disaster recovery profile. Same capabilities apply. We're just doing this over distance. One thing I want to point out. There's one thing we do which is really, really great with this solution. It's called, actually it's our tagline. It's assured recovery. We orchestrate the ability for you to go test the recovery of a server without interrupting production. We do that by essentially standing up a virtual replica of that production server, and then you can go out and test, and we'll give you a report. So it gives you a very good sense for how long it will take you to actually recover that specific server you're protecting by essentially running a disaster recovery test. And you can do that as many times as you want. The reason why you want to do this is while there's a lot of automation, lots of great things to do with the technology, clearly when it comes to operational backup and recovery, especially in the case of maybe a disaster, you may not have all the personnel that's available that knows everything. In theory, you should have all of the documentation. You should have all of your processes well oiled. But practice is absolutely key, and this is exactly what this allows you to do. And then you get reports, and you can, on top of that, now go back and demonstrate to management, to customer, to partners and business partners, and to yourself what you can actually achieve in terms of service level. So this capability is great, and again, it works both locally, it works also over distance. I really recommend using this assured recovery capability over distance. That's the true test of disaster recovery, and again, it does not interrupt production. You just have to have someone obviously run the test and manage it. All right, moving on to continuous availability. This is where essentially we and you can see there's an animation here where we really provide the ability to protect multiple systems and then fail over the whole data center, in a sense, here to your remote site. So very similar to the previous scenario, but with the benefit of here you have essentially expanded your whole environment, not just the critical apps or just one server, but you've essentially covered all of your environment with that ability to go to a remote site. The thing that I wanted to show here is, though, in this scenario, and I'm going to roll it back just real quick here. In this scenario, what you're doing is you're saying, okay, first I have a problem, and I'm going to go to a standby replica, and then I'm going to go to the other site. So you can really have a cascade of protection doing it this way. And then somebody asked me about cloud, and yeah, we provide high availability to the cloud. In this case, we support Amazon environments. So this is for high availability with AWS, and I think it's one of the unique capabilities that we offer here, because you can essentially have, with your Amazon instances, your high availability solution failing over automatically to your Amazon environment. So very, very powerful. You don't have to have a secondary data center. You don't have to have any investment in hardware or anything. Obviously, you're leveraging, in this case, public cloud, and in this case, Amazon. So in the future, there may be more providers that we support with this high availability option. I just want to be very, very, very clear about one thing. We support multiple vendors and other vendors, but for the high availability module or option, which is what I'm describing here, it's only Amazon. But we support Azure, we support other vendors for the other capabilities that are near high availability, but they're not continuous data protection. Okay, so this is continuous data protection, high availability in the cloud with Amazon. So what you see essentially is a great solution that allows you to do disaster recovery testing, continuous data protection, automatic failover and failback. I mean, this is enterprise class. This is the best you can get in terms of disaster recovery from a recovery point objective profile. The automation allows you to set scenarios so that you know it's going to fail over should something come up. And more importantly, the ability to also bring everything back home. And here we've done a great job with some automation. Look, these are the characteristics of high availability you'd find in the largest of enterprises, and this available for many, many customers who are not those largest enterprises in the world. We think that this is a great solution, again, to really improve your profile from an RPO, recovery point objective, and recovery time objective perspective. So I mentioned assured recovery, so this is a quick depiction of it. I already explained it. All it does is that essentially it takes a copy and runs a test automatically. It's non-disruptive, and more importantly, the reporting, again, is that evidence that you can use for a number of requirements, including compliance auditors, but really just going to your internal customers or just to your management and say, hey, look, this is what we can achieve when it comes to disaster recovery with this solution. We've tested this, we've improved our processes, now we know how to do this. Should anything come up, this is what you can expect from us. So before we open it up for questions, and I see a few questions have come up, and I'd like to ask you to please go ahead and ask me more questions here about this solution. Just want to tell you about our distribution partnerships around the world. We see we have a number of alliances and partners and resellers. In the North American market, we work with Ingram as our distributor, and have a number of vendors we work with and partners in the channel, so we're a channel company. And again, just wanted to give you a sense for the breadth of partnerships we have in the market. And then just know we've been around for a long time. We've got a lot of customers, many logos here. You can see it's just a very, very small cut of what we have, but we're very familiar with a number of vertical environments. We of course do a great job protecting business critical applications. We've really seen a lot of things and have a ton of experience, and that's really one of the benefits of working with a company like Arcserve. Although with this sort of new startup being recently independent, we've been around for a while. We have a lot of experience, and our technology is very solid, and we're very, very pleased to and very proud of the customer roster we have here. So with this in mind, at this point, I'd like to open it up for questions. So go ahead and in the interface type your questions, and we'll go through a few of them. I think that I've already answered one about Azure. So Azure Cloud is supported not for the high availability yet, but it is supported for the UDP sort of near availability option, which essentially leverages snapshot and incremental block data protection. And so the RPO question I see here, will there ever be support again? Okay, good question. So we support, there's a question about instant VM support. So in the Arcserve UDP solution, we have introduced in our version 6.0 the support for instant VM, so we do support it. So I think that answers that question. in different capabilities. So there's a question about the different capabilities between Azure and Amazon. Actually, this would be the topic for another session. I think it's a great idea, great topic, so we will make a note of this, and we'll put it on the calendar. I'm sure Mary will remind me to do that. We'll have a session on cloud protection, data protection with Azure and Amazon and other options we offer. So we'll create that and get that out there in the next few weeks. But I'm afraid I don't have the slides here to discuss that. Okay. I see a more specific question about protecting clustered VM, CSV store, UDP, agentless. Okay, I see a question. I think I've seen this question come through email recently. This is a little more involved, a little too involved for me to answer. Thank you for your question. What we'll do is, since we have Kim, okay, we have your name. So if what we'll do is we're going to send this to one of our SEs who is going to walk you through this. The question is really talking about protecting VMs on a CSV store, and what's the best option, agent, agentless, etc. So there are a few things we want to talk to you about depending on the scenario. So we'll follow up with you individually. Can we customize Arcserve for our own appliance manufacturing as an OEM partner? That's an interesting question. Please contact me offline about this. We should have a conversation about this on the business level. So we have your information. We'll do a follow-up. One of my colleagues who heads up the Alliance's general business will be in touch about this. C1. What information do we need to have available to determine what Arcserve solution would be best for us? Oh, that's a good question. Well, first of all, if you give us a call, we'll kind of take you through a few questions to help sort of kind of calibrate where we go from a conversation perspective. I think obviously the one thing you may want to think about as you engage with us is what type of business applications do you have, how many servers, how much data do you think you have. So what are you really trying to protect, and more importantly, what are you trying to achieve in terms of recovery points? And based on that, we'll be able to guide you towards the right edition of our solution, what options you need, etc. We also have, again, software, appliance, and cloud capabilities. So maybe in your case, it's more of an appliance solution that you prefer. Maybe you're going to go with a more traditional software deployment. Again, we can help you go through this. But just think about, in general terms, what are the how much data do you have? What type of application, servers, OS, hypervisors? That's going to help size this up. In addition, we have a number of tools on the website. We have great white papers, tools. We have storage calculators. We have a lot of different tools for you to go take a look at and as you navigate our solution set. Okay, I think, okay, thank you for the thank you. I think I've covered most of the questions. I think there was also a question about high availability for the Zen server. Yeah, I don't have an answer for you quite yet on that one, but certainly it's something we're keeping an eye on and looking at, but I can't tell you more at this point. So I think I've covered most of the questions here. Mary, do you see any more?
Actually, yeah, there are two more that just came in.
Oh, okay. Oh, okay. Sorry. Okay, so do you support personal machines backup? Yeah, we have a workstation edition, so we do support that. And then how about legacy data and systems as well as mini and mainframe? Well, it depends on the OS. We can talk about that. Typically, we are more focused today on clearly on Linux and Windows environment, virtual environments as well. Mainframe we do not do. So I'll be very candid, this is not our space. We do not support mainframe environments at all. And oh, NetWare, do you support backing up my NetWare 6 server? Well, with certainly with a previous version of solution, I'm sure we did. I couldn't answer that NetWare question. Maybe with our legacy solution, we still have that. That takes us back to the beginning, historically, of Arcserve when it was a much different company. But I'll have to follow up on that separately, Andy. Any more questions?
Now I think we've answered all the questions.
Oh, replication of iSeries. No iSeries. Sorry.
All right. It looks like we've answered everything. Well, Christoph, I want to thank you for the great presentation, and everybody who attended, I want to thank you for spending this time with us. I hope that you learned something. And I'll be sending out a recording of this presentation in maybe an hour or two. So keep an eye on your email box for that. And if you have any additional questions for us, you can reach us at arcserve.com. You can reach us there. Our phone number is on the website. You can reach us by chat, or you can send us a request, or you can download a trial right there. So we look forward to hearing from you, and have a great rest of your day.